Hey everyone, this is Mr. Orris. Today we are going to learn how to use Tinkercad. Tinkercad is to create 3D designs. So we're going to Google Tinkercad or go to tinkercad.com. And you might know the word tinker, it means to play. CAD, you might not know, it stands for computer aided design. So we are going to play with some computer aided design, right? To get started, in the upper right, we're going to click the sign in button and choose to sign in with Google. The first time that you visit, you may have to connect your account. So I'll choose my account. And I'll read carefully because this says continue, and then the checkbox is if you want email newsletters and special promotions. So you don't have to choose that. In my case, I'm not going to choose it. I'll just hit continue. And the first time you visit Tinkercad, you actually are welcomed with a set of learning lessons. If you hit Let's Go, it's going to take you into the first lesson, which I'll show you briefly, but we're going to spend most of our time playing. So you can see on the left, you have a series of steps to complete to pass this level. This one is called Learning the Moves. So it gives you a description. Let's learn how to move shapes along the workplane. You hit next. It tells you to drag the light brown construction into the orange area. So we're going to drag that into the orange area and then hit next. And voila, we've passed the first level. So what these do is they take you through a series of steps to help you learn each of the different key features in Tinkercad. My goal is to teach you through a short video, but you could always come back to this to learn those lessons. And to do that, if you ever click on the Tinkercad logo, it goes to what's called your dashboard. And in your dashboard, you'll find a spot to create new designs. That's what we're going to do right now. But you'll also find on the left, see there, it says lessons. And it shows you the lessons you've completed. And in the upper right, you can click on Learn and get back to any of these lessons. So they're all there to help you. Okay. Again, I'll click on the Tinkercad logo, which takes me back to the dashboard. And that's where I want you to be right now. We are going to create a new design. What's great about video is you can pause, rewind, or rewatch this at any time. Okay, so I'm going to move this little thing out of the way here. That way you can still see me, but it's not in our way. And this is called our work plane, right? Our work plane is three-dimensional. So when we take objects from the right and we put that on the work plane, we're going to have to look at it in 3D. So let's start with something simple, right? I'm going to click and drag the box onto the work plane. Now, the work plane is to scale, which means when I hover over any of these white boxes, I'm actually getting a measurement in the bottom right. You can tell that that measurement is in millimeters, right? So to change the size of a shape, you can drag any of the white boxes. That'll change the size. You also can see these numbers. If I wanted this to be 50 by 50, which would be a square, I can click on it and I can actually type in those boxes. Okay. You also, remember, this is three-dimensional. So in the upper left, notice this little cube. Well, this is showing me how I can look at the work plane. And right now I'm looking at it from the front top view, a corner view. From the top, if I click on it, it shows you the top view. I could look at it from the front view, from the side view, the right, the left, the bottom. I could click on any corner and you get all these different views of your object. Okay, but one I wanted you to see, notice it's three-dimensional. So I've got 50 by 50, but now it's only 20 millimeters tall. And I could drag that up, and now I got a perfect cube again, 50 by 50 by 50. Okay, so changing the shape of your object is one of the really important tools. I've used this to kind of look around, but let me show you another one. If you were to right-click on your mouse or on your touchpad and then drag around, that is a freehand way to look at your three-dimensional object. I do that all the time. I look around, I see where things go together and how they work. Okay, so we've got a little bit of information there about creating a shape and sizing it. Let's drag another one on here. Let's take a roof or a triangular prism, and let's drag one of these on, kind of make this our next object. All right, well, again, resizing is going to be important. I kind of want to make this look like a roof, so I'll make it just a little bit bigger than, that 50 by 50. I'll make it 55. And what's the other one here when we click on it? Oh, 55 by 56. Pretty close. There we go, 55 by 55. I'm going to drag it over, and to put it on top of the cube, there's another tool that we want to look at, and it's this guy right up here. It's the cone that sits above the object. So if you click and drag the cone, notice what it's doing here? It's lifting it off the work plane. And I can lift it off the work plane exactly that 50 millimeters, or let's say 51, and then I can drag it over and put it on top of my house. Now notice, whoa, 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 whoa. I got to be careful. I might want to change views. Ooh, look at that. So I can get it right in the right place. Okay. So as you use the tools, you kind of want to play a little bit to get to know how they work. All right, so I got my roof on my house. Could be a little bit better there. Maybe I just make it a little bit wider and longer. And that way, I don't get rain all over the house. All right, next little cool feature to build with. We're going to go back, and we're going to grab another box. All right, I want to make a door here. Okay, so you probably noticed there's two boxes. There's one that's called a hole and one that's called a solid. Now I dragged the solid on there, but what I want to show you is how to make anything what's called a hole. Get rid of that guy. All right, so I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna turn and maybe, I can zoom in a little bit, right? We've got a plus and minus over here on the left. You could also do that with a roll of your mouse. What I'd like to do is I'd like to make this look like a door. So I'm going to kind of center it a little bit. I can resize it if I want to. But what a hole does is a hole, if I click on my object and choose hole, it makes it look like it's clear, like a window, right? And that's pretty neat because instead of just adding stuff to the outside of a house, you could actually make it so that it goes into the house. And like scissors, we could actually take that hole and cut into the house. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to select both shapes. I kind of do a click and drag across. And notice here it says I've got two shapes selected. Well, this is called the grouping tool. And anytime you use the grouping tool, you're putting two objects together and making them stick together. So if you move one, they move together. When I hit group, you watch what happens. It takes that hole and it actually cuts in to the solid figure. So this is a way to make all these different cool shapes. And you can do lots of different things with holes, right? So as a quick example, let me drag a cylinder on here. Let me make it a little bit bigger, right? I want it to kind of be like the size of the house or something. There's another tool that we should talk about, which is called a rotation tool. So when you click on an object, you're going to see these double arrows. And if you click and drag those double arrows, you can rotate your object. So I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees. And let's see, I want to position it a little bit. I want to position it like this. All right, maybe put it right. Oh, I got to lift it. I want to put it above my door. And I want it to go from one side of the house through the other. Might be thinking this looks like a birdhouse. Okay, because what you can do, again, if I group these two objects together, we're going to be able to see right through the house. Let's check it out. Okay, again, I'm going to click and drag. So I select both objects. There they are. There's the two. I'm going to group those together and whoa, right through the house. So you can make all these neat objects with holes, just like those two. And you can make objects that actually sit on top of or against the solid. So for one more little neat feature, let's go down and grab the text tool. Okay, the text tool allows you to do just that. You can name your object. So let me just say this is house. Okay, I'm going to change the color. You can do all sorts of color changes here. I'll go with like a yellow. Let me show you. Oh, there we go. I thought I spelled it wrong. There's our house, and we've got to do some rotation, right? I'd like to maybe take this house and let me rotate it this way. Okay. Then I need to take my house and rotate it up. But again, I like using degrees. 90 degrees is a perfect right angle. So that's going to take my object and lift it up. Oh, if you can't drag it to 90, remember, you could always click on it and just type in, I want 90 degrees. Okay. And let me lift this up a little bit. It looks a little bit too big if I wanted to put it on my house. Ooh. Undo. All right, got to get it back to where it was. So let me kind of use this, put it up against the house, and should probably make my house, the text a little bit smaller. Notice how you can click and drag. There we go. And look at that. We zoom in, and we've just attached words to the outside of an object. So using these basic tools, all right, let's kind of review real quick of what we went over. We went over how to add an object and resize it. We went over how to lift an object off the work plane. We went over how to create a whole and group objects together. We went over how to insert an object and rotate it. And we went over how to add text. So using these basic strategies and really anything else that you can think of, you can create a really, really cool three-dimensional object. And even better, three-dimensional objects can be used in a variety of ways. You could put them in a video game. You could put them in virtual reality. You could print them. All sorts of neat stuff with this 3D design. Okay, when I see you next time, I might show you how to send this job to our printer.